Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher. I wanted to put this out because a lot of people bring it up, especially when we were much smaller about 2 years ago. I used to run a show called The Workshop. And The Workshop was very much taken from the idea of Day 9's dailies when I used to go through games of people playing StarCraft, where you guys would send me footage of you playing. And I would then go through it and say, okay, these are where your mistakes are. Because often, we don't know when we're making mistakes. We feel like we did a good job. Perhaps the boss died and we feel like we did well. Then we check our rankings and they're not quite good enough. Is it gear? Is it Legos? Is it something along those lines? What we can actually do these days, very, very easily, is pick up a program like OBS, which is totally free, and get even a basic 720p 30 FPS recording, which won't stress out your system, and record yourself playing. And then we can actually go through that and see, was I actually doing a good job? Was I always casting? Was I out of range for a long time? Did I leave a cooldown up for ages? All these kind of things are what we look for. So I actually impromptu did one on the stream. And people really, really liked it. Now, the reason I debated putting this one up is because there's music in the background. I'm really sorry. It goes down about halfway through, so it's not as loud. But below, I've linked the playlist of the original workshops. Ultimately, I'm looking to see whether people are interested in the workshop again. Now we're a much bigger audience, it might be viable to bring it back. The reason we stopped doing it is the amount of people who actually wanted to get better and feel like they were getting better and learn to play the game at a high end was really small. So for the amount of time it took to go through everybody's videos and then go back and make a load of notes on it, it actually turned into a whole big thing where nobody really watched it because very few people actually wanted to gain that knowledge. So I'm going to show you this one. This is me showing you how you plan and prepare for big DPS moments on a very complex fight. It's going to be Star, Org, and Mythic. And then you can let me know whether you liked it or anything. Again, I apologize for the music.
Okay. Let's see the mistakes I made. Hopefully this is a reasonable one. Alright, so, okay, so you're facing Starbro, right? Here you are. You ready, team? You all got a good view of this? Yeah, nice. Alright. So we're looking at Starbro. This fight fucking sucks. This needs absolutely horrifically awesome DPS. But it doesn't work like a traditional fight. So this is where it's all going to go wonky from the beginning, right? It's all going to go fucking wonky from the beginning. Firstly, because we have to have this awesome room animation, we're not even going to use cooldowns at the beginning. We're not going to use cooldowns at the beginning because it's irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. The actual enrage this fight is the thing at the very end, so it doesn't matter what happens in the first 10%. So it's already going to be a tragic, horrible start. But does that mean we don't maximize what we do? No, we still want to get out of this 10% quickly, right? So what you have to do when you get your class facing this is figure out what exactly can I do in the first 10% of the fight so that when I get to the 90%, which is when we're going to start DPSing, that I have everything I need to do that. So I'm going to do like the pull that I found the best, which is going to be doing a Fireball, Phoenix Flames, and straight into Meteor so we can reset Meteor. Exactly when we need it. So here comes the pull. Whoop, 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 whoop. So we're going to pre-part 3. Here we go. So it's going to be Fireball, Phoenix Flames at exactly the same time. So there's the Fireball and the Phoenix Flames traveling. And then you're instantly going to see the Meteor drop. Okay? So the Meteor drops immediately. So we've had 3 casts. Probably, like, with a decent burst to start off. That's going to disappear in a second. Now, I know, because I've done this fight a lot, especially this first fucking 10%. In this first 10%, I can only use 2 Phoenix Flames, and I need to be coming into, like, 92% with around 2 Fire Blasts. Now, the big problem here is Crank Conjunction's coming in 12 seconds. And your camera's fucked because of the nature of the fight and the walls. Your camera's bollocks. So there are people to my right. They might have the Grand Conjunction that I have. But I can only see these people. So I could make the fucking criminal error of moving over here, which would be a DPS loss, right? Or just move 2 steps to my right, assuming it's Frankie who's stood to my right, or Big T who's also stood to my right. So I'm going to do a camera swing when this happens. I don't know if I get Grand Conjunction in this pull. I have no idea. Here's that awkward moment where you keep critting and you can't get rid of a Fire Blast, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Here comes Grand Conjunction. You can see I adjust the camera slightly. This is all working towards trying to maintain max DPS while doing this. So this is important. You need to be able to do this. So I didn't get Conjunction. Cool. I'm fine. Everyone's going to do conjunction in front of me. My best plan now is to stand fucking still and make sure that I come into the 90th percent in a second. Now, this is tricky. For max DPS, this moment sucks. Why? We're about to phase the fight, and we're about to get Grand Conjunction at the same time. So you have to be really careful that you don't use any cooldowns at this point, because you might really fuck your DPS. So there goes Grand Conjunction. I got it. So I'm looking to my left. I can see I've got Pirowin, Maiden, and Security. Now, what do we do in this scenario? That's the question. What do we do in this scenario? I know that these two are going to clear each other because they're so close. I also know that Chris is definitely not going to fucking move because he's a tank. So I'm going to have to get to Chris. Rain's in the way, and he's also dealing with Frub. Now, Frub is a raid mechanic on his own. So we have to bear in mind that Frubs might do something completely insane at some point. Because I can see Big T has the marker. So ideally, Big T and Frub are going to pair up, but what can you also see? There's 5 on view here. Somebody else has a red marker somewhere who's not in my line of sight. So something crazy might happen. My one job here to maintain max DPS is to get to Chris as fast as possible, blink over the melee who might do something crazy, and then get back. While also being ready for the fact that we're about to start blowing cooldowns. It's also crucially important that I blow cooldowns around now, because that's going to take us nicely into the Bloodlust phase. So let's go. I check. Assess the scenario. See Chris. Back up because Almrak was running towards me. Don't want to kill everybody. Also, it did not go the way I expected. Let's check again. Here comes the Grand Conjunction. Now, it didn't go the way I expected, did it? At all. I need to pause it at the right moment. Do it. Do it. From this picture, it would make total sense, like we just said, that these two would pair up, Pirowin and Maiden, and I would go for Chris. However, Maiden has the same problem that I talked about at the beginning of this video. And this is something you have to bear in mind, right, when you're doing fights like this. Maiden can't see Pirowin, like, visually on the screen. Like, I can't see Frankie, who stood over here. Maiden can't see Pirowin. So this is going to fuck everything up from what I think's the best. Not that she's making a mistake. Maiden's not going to make a mistake here. It's just she can't see where to go. So Maiden, if we slow it, moves towards there. You see what's going on here? This is where it's really tricky for me to pick who am I going to deal with here, because all 3 of them are converging at one point. Now what happens is Maiden realizes that Pirowin is going to Chris, where I was about to go to Chris. Now she's going to change. There. See the way she changed her mind? And now she's looking at me. I also have this going on. This is a wipe if this happens, by the way. If this was to happen, it's a wipe. So, a little back pedal from me. I see Maiden coming. I know she's probably going to blink. So I don't blink. And marry up, okay? And then we're going to go into the DPS phase. So this is why Starbro requires quite a little bit of thought, because it's constantly evolving and changing. Go into the AoE phase. We finally get a good camera. Everybody's fucking happy. Now then. We're also trying to maintain max DPS. So far, I've not made any mistakes that is anything I could do with. I've done the best DPS I could possibly do so far with my class. I'm pretty happy with how we're doing a minute in. Alright. Grand Conjunction. What's going to happen here? Again, the Frub mechanic has come into play. Tricky. I would expect Viridian and Frub to pair up as both being melee, and there being no reds around them. So I'm going to look to get to Infinity over here because he's a Holy Paladin. I see the name Infinity, I know that's a Holy Paladin. So that for me means he doesn't want to fucking move. So, and I'm a mage. So I'm going to wait up, see what happens. Yep, it's Infinity. Going to blink to Infinity, clear it out, and Scorch back while never stopping casting. Never stopping casting, move back. Also saving a blink because we've got Nova coming. So I want to have that blink for Nova. Because Frigid Nova's about to happen. Going to move into position because I had my Scorch buff up nice and fast. Could have got away with casting an extra Fireball at that point. So we'll call that mistake 1. Didn't cast a Fireball, used a Scorch instead. Should have got away with that. But blinked straight back to position while everyone spreads out. Happy days, back to doing normal DPS. Getting rid of these Phoenix Flames. So at this point, my DPS plan is to get rid of my Phoenix Flames now to allow them to recharge over the next minute or so as we get ready for Bloodlust phase. So looking for opportunities to squeeze out that extra Phoenix Flames is always important. Now 2 things are going to happen here. 1, I'm a Fire Mage. If I get Icy Injection, there's a really high chance I'm going to die. Oh, I got plenty of Grand Conjunctions this time, which is cool. My target. Why? I could already see Repwat is moving to Nupsy. I saw that within the first quarter second of this coming out, that I saw Repwat moving that way. And Nups is a rogue. He has Shadow Step. So these two are going to deal themselves. Cloggy is a warlock, and warlocks are incapable of moving. They are rooted to the floor in all circumstances and will never fucking move to help you out. So Cloggy is my target. Now, what happened there? Same thing that happened with Maiden, and this happens all the time in this fight. Or likely happened, I mean, we're guessing. Nupsy could not see Repwa. Classic thing that goes on in this fight is where you bear in the camera is there's a really high chance that Nups could not see Repwa. But what Nups could see, as Nups is melee, there's Nups, there's the boss. He was in direct line of sight of Cloggy. He was easily the easiest person to click and shadow step to. So though I'm going to Cloggy, watch how quickly it clears. Nups, Cloggy, gone. Okay, so we have to adjust to that. So we're going to move back to Repwa. Lost DPS there because obviously my DPS plan wasn't what I hoped for, but it made sense for the other guys. They didn't do anything wrong. I want to be clear on that. They did nothing wrong whatsoever. That was just the best situation for them to deal with that. So as we continue on, we're about to get into the really boring part of this phase, which is trying to transition this fight before we get a next wave of icy injections towards 60%, but without blowing cooldowns, which is going to suck. This is where your gear comes in, trying to make this happen. So this is the last Frigid Nova we're going to have to deal with. I'm going to blink back to here, get back in position. And now we're trying to get to 60% while rebuilding our cooldown. So as I said earlier, I wasted all my Phoenix Flames, so they're naturally recharging now. And pretty soon I'm going to stop using Fire Blast for the same reason. Alright, Almarak. Oh, okay, this is a cool one to show you guys, because a lot of people are afraid of doing this, but you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be afraid of doing this. So, Grand Conjunction's going out, and it hit Almarak. Now, Almarak also had Icy Injection, which means he's about to explode. A lot of people would ignore Almarak, or stand like here, and wait for Almarak to be finished with his Icy Injection, to then come to him. But you have plenty of time. You have plenty of time. As long as you know that Icy Injection's only just gone out before this, which it has, you have plenty of time to run in and make that happen. Now, why would I do that instead of just waiting here or saying something like, we'll clear afterwards, Almarak? I tend to find when people get into this scenario where they have Grand Conjunction and Icy Injection, which means, because Icy Injection can kill really, really quickly. It's a huge amount of damage. Something like healers might correct me here, 2.5 million to 3 million damage when Icy Injection goes off. People panic. People get really panicked when there's a scenario. If I can clear this earlier on Almarak and get back to doing, and just leave him to deal with his Icy Injection, might not help, but it might make him a little calmer, and that's all good. So I'm going to assess that, I'm going to run in, and I'm going to run out. All clear, all he's dealing with is his Icy Injection with a second to go. Nice and easy.
I'll come to you, but don't worry.
We're back in again. So we're about to go into the next fucking horrible phase. You ready? This phase fucking sucks that we're about to go into. But you can see I'm now building my Fire Blast charges, my Meteor's back, my Combustion's back, my Mirror Images is back. Because it's about to go ham, and there it goes. So you have to prepare for that. So oftentimes, if people aren't really considering what their DPS is you'll enter a phase like this without the tools to make it work. Which you can't afford to do once you're raiding in Mythic. You can't afford to the Bloodlust phase, you just don't have the tools to abuse Bloodlust. You have to be making use of that. Okay, so if you don't know what happens here, meteors are going to start dropping from the sky. People who get Fel Injection are going to drop Fel on the floor. Meteors also create a big pool of Fel. So the trick of the fight is, again, a very simple mechanic, nothing any Mythic Raider would ever struggle with, is to drop the Fel inside the meteor before it lands, so we cover the least amount of floor possible with Fel. So you can see the guys standing it and they start painting the floor. On a personal note here, as a mage, this phase fucking blows, because this ticks for about 800 odd K. If I don't get decent healing, then I'm going to die. So the way I counter that, and you'll see me doing that regularly through this, is putting my Blazing Barrier on up when it's off cooldown. I see it's on 10 seconds there. And that means I can use 2 while painting the floor. Currently, Fire performs better than my Frost cell, just due to the fact that I focus so much on Fire. We will be switching to Frost soon, though. Alright, Fel Nova. This means everybody has to get to the edge. Now, notice how Blizzard's timed this. It's really cool. So, Fel Nova pushes everybody to the edge. Because of the way Fel patches work, that means that you're going to end up grouped up. It goes off. We've got 1 second left on Fel Nova. So, it's going to be 5 seconds before Grand Conjunction goes off. And if you're still on top of other people, you're going to wipe if you do that. So it's AoE, spread the fuck out immediately, and find a spot. So in fact, for me, it was better to move backwards. Grand Conjunction. Didn't affect me. Swangins. Still pretty happy with how my DPS has gone so far. Like, in terms of, like, abilities and stuff, we've missed maybe 1 or 2 fireballs max. Nothing major. Now, at this point, obviously, I could blink over here. It's not going to help me too much, because what the guild's doing is something called the Pizza Slice. Now, the Pizza Slice is creating an area between 2 markers. So this one's between red and blue, where the tanks are going to focus on keeping that clean for Felnova. You'll also notice me abusing the fact that this looks pretty scary, right? Because this shit if you walk in the green, by the way, you get a debuff that ticks for about 800k a second and stacks. So you get fucked. But me and Report are pretty chill with this mechanic. So me and Rep are actually going to chill here, drop our stuff off here because this is like a safe place to drop it, and abuse the fact that it takes more than 1 or 2 seconds to go off before it actually dots you up. So you can see I have the Fel Injection debuff, but I'm going to stand in it there and blink out before actually taking the damage debuff. So I didn't get the dot damage from it. You probably see all these people who are dotted up with it. You can see how much they like nearly die. It's pretty scary. It's a pretty fucking horrible scenario. So what am I doing now, DPS-wise, to maximize myself? I'm trying to move as little as possible. So you can see I'm doing something here that I taught all the range DPS, which is called stutter stepping. Stutter stepping is using the global cooldown to move. So the way I cast and move while my spells are on cooldown. So I'm not physically losing any cast time while doing this. It's because you're like cast, move, and you're going to be able to traverse a lot of ground by doing that. See again, cast, move. Blazing Barrier up, like I said earlier. Felnova, so I'm blinking into this scenario here, so I'm as out as way as many people as possible. Stutter stepping is vital, by the way, if you play a caster DPS. You need to be able to learn to stutter step. Grand Conjunction. So I didn't move there. I didn't try and do any crazy blinks. Why? I was stood next to Rain. He's a Death Knight. The chances are Rain does not want to stand here away from the boss. So the highest chance of somebody moving is Rain. Right. AIDS. Complete fucking AIDS. Let's assess our scenario here. Stutter step is very easy, but a lot of people don't do it. AIDS. Mother of fucking Christ. Super AIDS. There's nowhere to go. If I blink into here, and any of these guys move in any other scenario, it's a whip. It's a whippy. So this is a super AIDS situation to be in. What are we going to do? We obviously want to get to Viridian. It's going to turn out, I believe this is the pull, if I remember correctly, where there's actually 3 more people with Grand Conjunction behind there. Grand Conjunction behind there, who I can't even see. And we're obviously in a bad situation here. This is bad. But we stay calm. Why? We actually have loads of time before Grand Conjunction goes off. You get loads and loads of time. So the temptation is that to move as fast as possible with Grand Conjunction. In fact, I build up my Scorch stacks. I get 1 Scorch stack, continue to DPS, and assess what other people are doing before I make a decision. Looking for Viridian. There's the blink. Just wait for everybody else to clear. Not enough people do that. It's just take your time. Just chill. Again, stutter stepping to get out. Blink to the edge because I got Fel Injection. Get off the cast. Picked up a debuff there, so there was a mistake for sure. That'd be mistake number 2 at this point. Was just trying to finish that cast before getting the debuff. Luckily it was fine. And we're about to transition. So, cooldowns are back, but I don't have my Phoenix Flames or Fire Blast. Is that a mistake? No. We're not actually going to blow cooldowns now, although we're going into the final phase of the fight, because we want it on these shitty ads. Now here it's going to get real fucking horribly panicky. Like, horribly panicky. And this phase requires the most DPS. So, I didn't get a good view of it yet, but there's apparently a lot of guys who can't tell about this eye. Let me just freeze frame how big this thing is. I only get to see it for a second, don't I?
Eye coming in.
Eye coming in, there's the call. Do you see this forming into the world? Do you see this thing? That's how big the eye is that's going to laser beam the platform. Yeah, it's that big. A lot of people can't find this eye. A lot of people don't know where it is. But I don't know why, but yeah, you'll find a lot of people can't find it for some reason. But that's how big it is. It's the size of a planet. It's literally planet-sized eyeball. I think, honestly, it's so big that people don't think that's what's getting it. it's so fucking big that people don't really realize that's the thing. So you can kind of just see it's fully formed in there. It's planet-sized eyeball. So you've got to figure out. It's got to cut a line through the platform, so you can see everyone moves. There's the notification. Bump.
Mate.
Kill it. So now we come down to the last bit, and again you can see I've pretty much timed this perfectly to have everything I need to burst the ad as quickly as possible. So this is all pre-planned. This is how you plan your DPS as best you can. I've not wasted anything. I'm not capped on Phoenix Flames. I'm not capped on Fire Blast. I'm about to hit the cap, but we're also just about to get the ad. So there's no wasted resources here besides some delay on combustion and mirror images, which we didn't need in the other phases, so it doesn't matter. There's the ad. Just as we hit max resources, there's the ad. So we switch over, we pop combustion, we do our thing. Blah, 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 blah. Good signs, meteor, etc., etc. This is a really cool fight to be a mage on, by the way, because there's a lot of moving backwards and forwards. So there's Witness the Void, turn around, Dragon's Breath, those things. Blink to safety. Didn't manage to get off the pyro, which sucks. Got Big T, clear that as quickly as possible. Now we're going to Scorch back into position here, because blinking will take us way too far. Turn around. Getting nasty now. Only objective here is to finish this ad off. There's the eye, by the way. There's the eye, by the way. The sneaky, stealthy eye. That's coming back, so everyone's moving again. Moving back. Add down. You hardcast break this buff here. Sorry about the Zerifax asking about hardcasting pyro. This buff here means that my hardcasted pyros hit 4 times. So they do a shitload of damage. It's a legendary braces thing. Cool, free time. This is actually one of our better pulls because we're going into 19% here. Everybody's alive. I'm not sure what the res situation is. I should probably get that information, but not that it affects me personally. Some free time, and now we're about to come to what is considered the fucking worst thing in the universe. DPS-wise, though, everything we've done has worked out perfectly. Right now, we're kind of trying to build a little bit of resources for this ad, but other people, due to our setup, other people actually have DPS cooldowns for this one, whereas I used mine earlier on. So you try and kill these ads as quickly as possible. So this is where it gets super aids. We're getting multiple things at once. Oh, it's actually not this one. This one's the first one. This one's fine. Turn around, no problem. Grand Conjunction, that's why we're spread out. Oh, I noticed Lester's chasing me there. You see the way I was going for Maiden? This is that thing I was just telling you about. Is that sometimes you don't see the wood for the trees in terms of people who actually have it. Now, I can see there, but I was always looking this way because it's where the vast majority of people were. So I start moving to Maiden, although this would have been obviously the obvious choice. So I would put this as mistake number 3 because I cost Lester here some damage because Lester ended up chasing me. You can see Lester's chasing me. He's a rogue. He's chasing me. That was a fuck up. So I actually run back to him once realizing what's going on. That's why I'll point out the eye again. I love it. I love it. It's so fucking huge. Look at the size of the fucking thing. Where is it? Anybody seen an eye? Is there an eye in here? How am I supposed to know where the eye's looking? Where is it? Why is it so hidden? There's the eye. It's a sneaky motherfucker, right?
Green, purple.
Okay, so now you're coming. This is the point where you're gonna die, like real bad, unless you get this really, really, really correct. What happens here is Witness the Void number 2 from the ad. This really fucking hurts. It's also going to happen at the same time as an AoE explosion. Watch the raid damage. I ice block it, and there you go. 2 people dead. Now, this is probably what cost us a kill, but it's also during a very, very tricky moment. So that we only survived that with, I think we have Devo, a Tranquility, and Rallying Cry in order to survive that. But it basically fucking, if you don't have many, many raid cooldowns for that, it's an instantaneous raid wipe at that point. Also notice we're like 8 minutes in now, and that's where you hit the raid wipe point. Fucking shit. Second ad down. Good times, right? We've killed both the ads. That's the last ad we're going to kill in order to kill Starbro. We have 2 deaths. Not bad. And we got pretty much like 10% to go, 13%. So we're going to go. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is it now. This is the kill. This is the kill situation. But we lost those 2 people.
Yeah, we ignored this.
We've got 1 minute to kill it. 1 minute to kill it at this point. So we're going ham, boys. We're going ham. But we've lost our fucking Fury Warrior and we've lost our Windwalker at this point. And so far, not really any major DPS mistakes besides right now, because this is the first time we'd seen it. I did not believe I was going to get a second combustion in the space, and I do. So now I know for next time, even after all these pulls, we're still learning here. This is my major DPS fuck up. I was not prepared for this mirror images combustion combo to come back up in this phase. I would consider this three minor mistakes so far, one mega fuck up. One mega fuck up. This is a colossal fuck up, because ordinarily this would actually be really good. I had a Whispers in the Dark proc, good times. I had a Pyro Brock, good times. And then I should have followed into that with a massive combustion and mirror images for the finale. But I didn't know it was going to work out that way. Fucked myself up, fucked the guild up. I'm the raid wipe. There you go. Grand Conjunction. This is our last Grand Conjunction we're going to deal with. There it is. And it's hell on earth. So good's my obvious choice. Get it out of the way.
Purple.
What is it? What is it? Can you see it yet?
Last of this. Face away, purple.
Look at the raid damage at this point. So this is awful as well, because we get the Witness the Void, which AoEs everybody, and the Eyeball, which means all the healers are moving and stuff. But now we know next time the healers don't actually have to gather up after Grand Conjunction. They can stay where they are. And that's it. It's game over. That's it. So we went from everybody alive at what?
Face away, purple.
Around there, and then
Liquid, sec,
rip the dream.
liquid. Or, I'm sorry.
Rip the dream. There you go. So I made one major error in that, from my perspective, which I'll fix for next time. I'm now quite confident I wouldn't have done 231 million damage in that point, but there we go. And that's how you workshop yourself. You go through it step by step. What's my plan for here? Well, how do we work that to maximize your DPS? Yeah, I can show you another start, bro, if I've got it here, which... We did quite well last night. I wish I had one of the, like... I'm sure there's a pull here where we died within the first... Oh, this might be it, actually. This one's only 2 gigs. Alright.
We also you bought this. Like, if possible.
Alright. But let's just to put in context of how difficult this is. When I did that video explaining that, like, how punishing this is. It's a standard pull, you've seen it before. Pretty good. Got a nice Whispers in the Dark Pyro proc to kick us off. Didn't crit, but sad times. I just want you guys to have context as to how hard all the tiny, not difficult elements of this fight are. I'm going to go to Big T.
Okay, wipe that.
Wipe.
I mean, in the start,
And that's what you're avoiding throughout the entire fight, is that? Wanna watch it again? Just to give some context to Starbro.
Okay, wipe that.
I mean,
And that's it.
in
It's
the
over.
start,
That's it. Start again.